We've got Stephen M. Smith of TouchdownAlabama.com on the line, breaking down the Alabama recruiting class, consensus #1 in the country by all the major services. Stephen, you know I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to have you look down the board. A lot of publicity going to the top of the board, of course. But as you scan the board, guys that might not be getting as much attention, that based on the scouting reports, based on what you've watched on tape, that you really like?
First one that comes to mind, Mark, is the 3-star defensive lineman, Quinn Barnes, out of Lee High School in Montgomery. He's not getting a lot of publicity, but this is a kid that I compare to Dalvin Tomlinson when Tomlinson came to Alabama from Georgia in the 2012 class. No one talked a lot about Dalvin, but when that young man was healthy, you look at one of the best, most underrated defensive linemen to ever play in the Saban era. Big, but also very athletic at 6'4", 312 pounds. Really good in batting balls down, could stuff the run. Surprisingly, Dalvin Tomlinson was actually a very good pass rusher also from the interior defensive line. No one spoke a lot about Dalvin because he played with Deron Payne. He played with Jonathan Allen. He played with Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson. He had so many big players around him, but he kind of got lost in the shuffle. But when Dalvin made an impact play, you knew it was him because he had that type of energy, effort, and motor to his style of play. And when I watch Quinn Barnes, I see the exact same type of player. He doesn't get the attention. He doesn't get the publicity, but the size is there. The speed is there. The motor is there. The energy is there. You're talking Quinn Barnes. I'm very excited to see that young man. And I'm also excited to see James Bronckemeyer on the offensive line. I know his brother, Tommy Bronckemeyer, gets a lot of praise for the 5-star offensive tackle. They both come from Texas. Their father, Blake Bronckemeyer, played in the NFL. Really phenomenal offensive lineman. I know Tommy Bronckemeyer, J.C. Latham out of Florida, Terrence Ferguson out of Georgia. These other guys get more love than James Bronckemeyer, but this guy is nasty, mean, aggressive on that interior offensive line, Mark. I can see him being either a center or a guard at Alabama, really taking it to opposing defensive linemen and working up to that next level. Really love Quinn Barnes, really like James Bronckemeyer.
Stephen, do we expect much activity between now and the second national signing day on that first Wednesday of February?
We could, Mark. I mean, the magic number right now for Alabama, it looks like 26 or 27. So there's still 2 to 3 more guys that Coach Saban could look at. And it could be guys that, like the JoJo Earl young man yesterday, that he came out of nowhere. No one was expecting Earl to flip to Alabama after being originally committed to LSU. So it could be a situation where it could be a name that comes from nowhere. No one's talking about it. No one's discussing it. But that name could rise, and Alabama could be the one getting that name. Now, it could come at the quarterback position. It could come maybe at the tight end spot. Alabama hit on all of its basic needs in this first signing period, and it got some wants as well. So the last 2 to 3 names, it could be somebody that no one's really discussing. They come on late in the recruiting process, and Alabama becomes fortunate in picking up that name.